exclusive seasonal rates starting at $139. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Hey, Easter's almost here. The family-owned Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford is the most affordable Easter dining destination. WTMJ's John Mercure. Easter's a special family holiday, so don't cook and clean. Enjoy your family and enjoy the Mind Chef's incredible all-you-can-eat Easter Sunday brunch. I've been to the Easter Sunday brunch. It's everything you love for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, including desserts. All you can eat for under $25. Add a glass of wine, an old-fashioned, a Bloody Mary, an ice-cold beer. Ooh, a perfect brunch. Kids and grandkids, 3 and under, eat free, and then they can safely play in that world-class game room quietly tucked away from the dining area while you enjoy the rest of your meal. Call and reserve your Easter Sunday brunch family table today, serving from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. The country fried chicken and half rack of rib dinners are both just $9.99, and you won't spend a lot of money at the Mine Shaft on anything. It's in beautiful downtown Hartford. Lots of seating, lots of close parking. MineShaftRestaurant.com. Big food, big fun. It's the Mine Shaft.
Jake suffered with carpal tunnel syndrome.
Tingling numbness in my hands and fingers, not sleeping well at night, tossing and turning, trying to manage with pain pills and stretching, and it just wasn't helping.
He didn't want the traditional invasive carpal tunnel surgery.
I had seen people with the bandages and scars and clubs for hands. I just don't have time to be incapable of doing things for 6 to 8 to 10 weeks.
Then he learned about the Ovation Hand Institute and the Ovation Technique, an ultra minimally invasive procedure done in the office.
I wanted to get it looked at sooner than later. So I had the virtual consult. It was very thorough as far as like I was sitting in a doctor's office. I was booked for the procedure 2 weeks later, had my right hand done. Very quick procedure. It was really great. That very night when I went home, it was the first time in probably 3 months my hand did not wake me up.
Book an appointment with the Ovation Hand Institute and find out if you're a candidate for the Ovation Technique.
Probably the most surprising thing was how quickly I was able to do things again. I'm cooking dinner, I'm doing yard work and all that kind of stuff the next day.
Visit ovationhand.com. ovationhand.com.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
The crew are out in Colorado to hit that Rocky Mountain high.
Hit in the air, that one into center. This is deep, up into the ninth. Back goes Doyle, track, wall. See you later, Bryce Terang. Wow.
Our Brewers Rockies coverage starts tonight at 7:05 on your home for the Milwaukee Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
Just after 1 o'clock and 43 degrees in Milwaukee. Today, cloudy with PM rain and a snow mix. Slushy accumulation is possible. Yes, it's going to be a messy one. We have a high of 42 today, and we just beat that. Tonight, a mix ends, and it's going to be cloudy otherwise, a low of 34. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Jessica Ty. Facing a global market meltdown, President Trump just announced a 90-day pause on punitive tariffs, with the exception of China. He actually raised those taxes. Here's the Treasury Secretary just moments ago.
Every country in the world who wants to come and negotiate, we are willing to hear you. We're going to go down to a 10% baseline tariff for them, and China will be raised to 125 due to their insistence on escalation.
Global markets surge after that announcement, and I'll get you the numbers in just moments here. A longtime Republican Wisconsin congressman says he's nervous about President Trump's tariffs.
Congressman Glenn Grothman says in his decade in Washington, he's never seen anything like the current aggressive tariff action.
I don't want it to become a long-term tax on the American people used to balance the budget. That'd be a mistake.
He says he understands that Wisconsinites are nervous.
I'm a little nervous until we see how it shakes out. I think everybody's a little bit nervous. We're going to know a lot more where this winds up in 4 or 5 weeks from now.
John Mercure, WTMJ News.
A teenager accused of killing his parents is headed to trial. 17-year-old Nikita Kassup faces 9 felony charges, including first-degree homicide and hiding the bodies of his mother and stepfather. Waukesha County Detective Ross Seitz details where investigators found bullet holes inside the home.
One was located lodged in the wall near the access door from the garage into that hallway. Another one was located in the floor around the location of victim B's body. And then a third was later recovered on a desk located near victim B's body.
Kassup's arraignment is set for May 7th. An update now to a story we've been following on here on WTMJ. A former warden at Waupun Correctional Institution agrees to plead to a misconduct charge.
Randall Hepp has a plea and sentencing hearing scheduled for April 28th. He had previously pled not guilty to the felony charge last August. Hepp is among 9 former employees at the state's oldest prison, originally charged in connection with the deaths of 2 inmates in February of 2024. Both inmates' bodies were not discovered until several hours after their deaths. The Wisconsin State Journal reports Jeremy Chalker, a former correctional officer at Waupun, had his charges dismissed earlier this month. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Medical debt forgiveness is coming to veterans. Verizon is partnering with the Green Bay Packers to forgive $3 million in the next 2 years. Packers president and CEO Mark Murphy on WTMJ.
I think we see that as a partnership where we can help each other. And, particularly the things that they're doing to relieve the debt of veterans, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's really impressive. And we're excited to be partnered with somebody like Verizon.
Eligible veterans across the state of Wisconsin will get letters in the coming months, so keep an eye out for those, notifying you that your debt has been forgiven. Imagine getting that letter. Well, let's look at the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management market update right now, because the markets are just skyrocketing as President Trump hits a 90-day pause on most of those new tariffs. Here are the numbers right now. The Dow is up 2,573 points to 40,219. S&P 500 is up nearly 400 points to 5,380. And the NASDAQ is up 1,532 points to 16,800. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:05.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. We talk all the time about Tri-County Contracting, the place to go for roofs and siding. But don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also does windows. Need a new front entry door? Tri-County Contracting, or maybe a patio door that's always jammed. Get your free estimates today. They've been helping homeowners like you for 46 years. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
Okay, adventurers, listen up. Fox World Travel just dropped some seriously incredible Fox Group vacation destinations for 2026. Set sail on a yacht through the Croatian coastline, join a thrilling African safari, or immerse yourself in the mecca of all flower shows in London. And for the first time, we're introducing a woman's-only tour, partnering with Insight Vacations, Globus, and African Travel. But these are just a few of the exclusive offerings. But don't wait. They're filling up fast. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO to reserve your spot today.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But this one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number. $100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. Oh, one last number. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
Listen up, fellow Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. Let's do it again and get vaccinated, because we're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit VaxAssist.com and schedule a vaccine today. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Milwaukee Brewers look to make it 2 in a row tonight over the Rockies in Colorado. Catcher William Contreras hit his first home run of the year during last night's win. Pat Murphy would obviously like to see that continue.
He's doing a fabulous job behind the dish. It goes unnoticed. I don't think the general baseball fan understands how important the catcher is in our whole thing. You know, he's like the quarterback, calls all the pitches, but to see his offense come alive would be really nice. So hopefully it continues.
Yeah, and that was pretty awesome. Coverage of tonight's game begins at 7:05. And with 3 games to play in the regular season, the Milwaukee Bucks occupy the 5th position in the Eastern Conference playoff race. Now, there is an outside chance they could move up to the number 4 spot. We'll see. The Bucks host the New Orleans Pelicans tomorrow night. Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic. Let's see how we're doing now. A couple of our accidents have cleared, which is good news. As we look into Milwaukee County, I-43 south at the ramp from Locust Street, the right lane is blocked due to a disabled vehicle there, and that's a spot where there are construction cones out. Also, we have a new crash on the exit to Wisconsin 164 from I-43 north. That is over there on the ramp, it looks like. Traffic not really backing up too bad at that moment, but that is a new one for you. We also have down in the Kenosha County, Racine area, 4194 north, a little bit beyond the Illinois state line. Right shoulder is blocked due to a car that's broken down there.
Traffic is sponsored by the Heiser Automotive Group. For convenient car shopping and financing, visit Heiser Automotive Group at one of their 4 locations, Toyota, Chevy, Ford, Lincoln, and Cadillac. Or visit Heiser.com because today's your day.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast today. Yes, it's going to be messy. We're talking about a rain and snow mix this evening. Slushy accumulation is possible. High of 42. We already beat that. Tonight's going to be cloudy once that mix ends. Low of 34. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy. We have a slight chance for rain. High of 42. Friday and Saturday, mostly sunny. How about that? We have a high of 46 by the lake on Friday, 51 inland. Saturday, high of 52 by the lake, 60 inland. Then Sunday, it's going to be partly cloudy, and there is a slight chance for rain later on, but we have a high of 57 by the lake and 66 inland. That's going to feel nice. It's currently 44 degrees in Kenosha, 50 in Port Washington, and 43 now in Milwaukee. I'm Jessica Ty. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:10.
65,498 square miles. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. This is Spanning the State. Here's your host, Kristin Brey.
Good afternoon. Are we having fun yet? Just on this Trump tariff timeline, never know what you're going to get, because what we were prepping for this morning, then it's changed. So for the more Steve folks, you're in luck, because he's going to join me at 1:35 for the rest of the show. And certainly once he comes on, we're going to talk more about what has happened in the last hour, 2 hours, as far as Trump reversing, or at least pausing tariffs for everyone but China for another 90 days, has increased the China tariffs to 125%. And so we'll talk more about what that means. At least the market's up. So enjoy that for now. But yes, and then in hour 2, there's some things happening with Wisconsin's favorite historical landmarks. So Circus World and Old World Wisconsin have some new exciting things happening in the coming months. So we're going to talk about those. And then we're going to talk about talk to a representative from the Milwaukee County Federated Library System to talk about the Trump executive order to cut federal funding for public libraries and museums and what that could mean for the future of our libraries. So that will be coming up at 2:35. But speaking of funding cuts, so I feel like for any of us who are trying to keep up with the news, we are getting an education about things that we didn't even know existed when it comes to federal spending. At least I will speak for myself. I am getting an education. Like the Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities Program, or BRIC. So these are grants that I've just learned about that are given out through FEMA. And the program was established back in 2018, so during the first Trump administration. And to date, it's the largest climate adaptation initiative the federal government has ever funded. Or rather, it was the nation's largest climate adaptation program. So according to a memo from last week, FEMA, so the Federal Emergency Management Agency, is canceling more than $1 billion worth of BRIC grants that have not been paid out yet by the federal government. And I only recently found out, and we're going to talk to a guest when we come back from this commercial break, the direct impact that cancellation is having on 2 different tornado shelter projects that were recipients of these grants. So there's one in Cuba City and one in Potosi. So when we come back, we're going to talk to a grant writer who's been very involved in both of these projects to hear more about what this rug pull has felt like, what our representatives are saying that they are or are not going to be able to do about it, and where we go from here. So stay tuned. More on that after this.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes working at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from my friend Tracy.
One of the things that enticed me about Three Pillars and wanting to work there was their stellar reputation.
and just being top rated. I got this job. I told people, I told family and friends and people I knew, and every single one of them was like, oh my gosh, you're going to love that place.
Find a rewarding career at 3pillars.org.
Hey, boaters! We have the go-to marine store. And it's not just because we have all the boat parts and supplies you'll ever need, including oddball parts you thought you'd never be able to find. And it's also because we're cheaper than the other guys, too. So why shop anywhere else? This is Dave Dorrell from Kendor Marine. Boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin. Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water. Hey, boaters! This is Dave Dorrell from Kendor Marine. When you get here, you might be overwhelmed when you see so much stuff. But don't be, because our staff knows just where to find what you need. They're knowledgeable, friendly, and willing to help so that you can find everything you need to keep your boat in tip-top shape. Boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin. Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
It's the biggest door in your house. Time to give it the attention it deserves. Vince Vitrano here talking about Lifetime Door Company in Brookfield. Updating your garage door increases the value of your home. It's the first thing people see, and it's the best return for your money on investment. At Lifetime Door, if you have an emergency, they'll come out 7 days a week to service existing garage doors and openers. 5% off any service or install at Lifetime Door Company in Brookfield. Get started now, 262-783-4004, lifetimedoor.net.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristin Brey, and according to a memo last week, FEMA has canceled more than $1 billion worth of BRIC grants, which stands for Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities Program. And this is going to directly impact two different projects that were recipients of these grants, one in Cuba City, Wisconsin, and one in Potosi, Wisconsin. And joining us now is Jordan Buss, who is a Wisconsin-based grant writer and president of JBAD Solutions. Jordan has worked closely with rural districts, school districts across the state to secure federal funding for critical safety infrastructure, specifically tornado safe rooms through this program. So welcome to the show, Jordan.
Thank you, Kristin. Thank you for having me and hearing our story.
So beyond what I have already described, what is BRIC?
Yeah, so as you described very well, it stands for Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities, and it's a program that is intended to fund pre-disaster mitigation infrastructure, like tornado safe rooms, flood control, utility hardening, things of that nature that it's FEMA's way of prioritizing and encouraging communities to prepare for future disasters before they happen. There's numerous studies, both by FEMA and outside entities, that show for every dollar that's spent in pre-disaster mitigation, it's like spending $6 to $13 in post-disaster recovery. So it's the government's effective way of trying to shift it from more of a responsive to more of a proactive approach to hazard mitigation. And the program was created and authorized under the Stafford Act as amended through the Disaster Recovery Reform Act of 2018. And it's a program that's federally funded through annual congressional appropriations.
Got it. Okay. And so what were the two projects that you've been part of that were in Wisconsin specifically?
Yeah. So actually there's 5.
Oh, there's 5. Okay.
That have been selected for further review through FEMA and through the program. Cuba City, as you mentioned, Potosi, Phillips, and Birchwood were all selected under the fiscal year 22 program. And then Alma Center Humbird, Maryland School District and the Melrose Maduro School District were selected in the fiscal year 23 program. These 5 projects represent approximately $30 million in federal funding for these school districts that have now been canceled. However, like you said, the two that I kind of wanted to focus on the most are Cuba City and Potosi because they were so close to being able to start these projects.
So have they had not broken ground yet, but how close were they?
Correct. They have, so Cuba City has essentially the drawings pretty much completed for the project, but as part of the FEMA, grant requirements, you cannot break ground until the grant is officially awarded. So they've essentially been in a holding pattern since August of 2023 as it makes its way through kind of the bureaucratic review process to make sure that everything meets requirements.
When was the sorry.
Yep, go ahead.
I was going to say, had this not happened last week, when were they expecting for everything to be, I's dotted, T's crossed, and to actually be able to break ground?
Yeah, so FEMA historically has worked very slow at these review processes, which has been very frustrating on that side of things. But they were days away. We have a full FEMA determination that we were given on January 30th, 2025, that it was a final determination. All that we were waiting for was the Department of Homeland Security to approve the terms and conditions that would be attached to the grant. So we were days away from being awarded these projects.
So then you got the email on Friday?
Yes. So late on Friday, April 4th, FEMA sent that advisory to the state's emergency management agency, which is Wisconsin Emergency Management, who helps, facilitate these grants and administers them after they're awarded. And FEMA canceled the BRIC program entirely, and that doesn't just affect how many school districts, are actually pursuing grants this year, where, there is a grant program that was put out, a notice of funding opportunity that has now been canceled, but it does retroactively affect projects going back to 2020. And in that public advisory from FEMA, it said the BRIC program was yet another example of a wasteful and ineffective FEMA program. It was more concerned with political agendas than helping Americans affected by natural disasters.
But
Yeah, go ahead.
If it started in 2018, though, this was a, like I said in the beginning, it was started under Trump, right? This wasn't a Biden program.
Correct. So it was the legislation was passed in 2018. The first fiscal year that BRIC was actually rolled out as an opportunity was in fiscal year 2020, which is when these first were submitted. They weren't selected, and they submitted again the following year, which is where they were selected. And so the BRIC program is actually like the big brother of what was called the Pre-Disaster Mitigation Grant Program, which was in effect prior to 2020. And in that program, there were, under the first Trump administration, there were nearly identical multi-purpose tornado safe rooms that were funded during President Trump's first term in Spencer, Abbotsford, Owen Withy, and Luck, Wisconsin, totaling more than $9.8 million in federal funding that helped lower the local tax burdens for those communities. So it's been around.
It's been around, yes. And so as far as, did you see this? Did you think that this was going to happen? Was there any spidey senses? Was there any indication that this was going to happen?
Obviously with everything that was going around with the Office of Management and Budget, memo that was released at the end of January, putting a blanket federal funding freeze that was shortly rescinded thereafter. We've been reaching out to lawmakers throughout this process, actually, even before, the November election and everything like that. Throughout the life of these projects, we've reached out to all of the representatives of these communities, Senator Ron Johnson, Senator Tammy Baldwin, Congressman Derek Van Orden, Congressman Tom Tiffany for the Birchwood and Phillips projects, to, try to obtain, updates from FEMA where the review is at and pushing for a more timely review, from FEMA. In all of those offices, we're so supportive of these projects, even early on in the review process after being selected. Being helpful in obtaining updates. And after the OMB memo at the end of January that had the federal funding freeze, we reached back out concerned that we would get lumped into the overall BRIC program and the whole program would get thrown out as a part of that funding freeze. Mm-hmm. And we were assured from, all of these offices that these communities had nothing to worry about regarding the potential of these funds. We were told that this is just a delay, it's just a pause. And that was the message we received up until we actually received the FEMA advisory last Friday.
And what has been the response since that advisory's come out? Have you been able to get in touch with any of their offices?
So I reached out as soon as we got that to the various offices, to try to make heads and tails of what this means for us and why this has happened. And like I said, Congressman Van Orden, Congressman Tiffany, Senator Johnson's offices, specifically had previously indicated there was no concern and expressed support that these are common sense projects and are not a part of climate change, DEI, the whole BRIC program that is being canceled essentially. And since FEMA's announcement, there's been a mix of silence and shifting narratives from the offices that had earlier, expressed support. One of the main questions that has been raised, in this outreach is whether this is actually legal, because the BRIC program was both authorized and appropriated by Congress. The question is whether this can be, legally canceled by executive action through the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristin, and not actually a congressional action. And Senator Johnson's staff acknowledged to me that this is likely a legal issue to be resolved in the courts, but did indicate that the senator would most likely not support pursuing an exemption for these projects.
Got it. Have you been able to talk to many lawyers who, would this be something like a Josh Call, Attorney General Josh Call would get involved in? Because I know later in today's show, we're talking about the executive order for funding for libraries. Does that fall under like a state pursuit?
It could be. Obviously this is very fast moving since it just happened on Friday, and just trying to work with the communities on, these are school districts. They don't have excess funding to pursue legal action. So it's very difficult here, where we feel that our best option at this point is to pursue some sort of an exemption, because if the answer to that legal question is that in order to actually cancel these grants as an agency, such as FEMA, would have to provide those, rescissions to Congress, who would then have to pass legislation to actually rescind the funding that was already previously appropriated. If that's the case, we're seeking support from these representatives to not rescind these specific projects and go at it with a scalpel, not a sledgehammer, to the whole program.
All right. And if that doesn't, if it doesn't work in your favor, just the projects are over, and it's, what is it? What's left for the community? Like, as far as any opportunity to still work on these projects, or is it kind of just over and done with?
It kind of depends on the community. They're now either facing funding shortfalls, increased local tax burdens because of projects that, they pursued. A lot of these communities did invest years in local funding, based on FEMA's guidance and the notice of funding opportunities from how many years ago. And so some of them went to capital referendum to raise the local funds for the local cost share and any ineligible expenses. And so now they're left with what funding they have available and what they can make of a project without the expected and selected, grant funds.
All right. Well, Jordan, keep us up to date on this, because this is the exact kind of story as you hear a headline and you don't necessarily always know how it's going to affect your community. But here's one that is directly affecting communities in Wisconsin. So thank you so much for sharing the story, and keep in touch with us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Jordan Buss is a Wisconsin-based grant writer and president of JBAD Solutions. We'll be back with more after this.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, we profile the average John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they got up one morning that they'd be saving a life, becoming everyday heroes. There, yeah, she flew off the road right at a bridge, so she went down an embankment. No one could see her vehicle until a guy named Johnny Martinez happened to come by.
I said, "Ma'am, how long have you been here?" And she said, "I've been here since Wednesday night." And I said, no, it's today's Tuesday.
Everyday Hero, Thursdays at 6:40. Presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
Hey, this is Steve Scaffidi for Advent. I had some snoring issues that kept my wife up at night. That led to poor sleep and a lot of tired mornings on the radio, and nobody wants that, trust me. But it's simply, my nose wasn't working the way it should. I decided to go to Advent for a quick 30-minute visit, one of their great facilities, talk to a bunch of their doctors. They really put me at ease. After a really simple sleep study at home, in my own bed, they determined the root cause of my problem had to do with my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle, so I went to see Advent. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well, and my wife and I are both back to sleeping through the whole night. The best sleep we've ever had, that could be you. If you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your life and your nights a whole lot better, go to AdventKnows.com, schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows, when you breathe well, you live better.
Advent knows. ride-a-bike during the nation's largest bike sale. That's right, the Wheel and Sprocket Bike Expo sale is back. And so is our trade-in, trade-up program, which means you can trade in your old bike for a gift card to use towards your new bike.
Find it, buy it, ride it. Find it, buy it, ride it.
Electric bikes, road bikes, cargo bikes, mountain bikes, kid bikes, hybrid bikes. Over 2,000 brand new and used bikes on sale, along with thousands of accessories, from helmets and lights to car racks and more.
Find it, buy it, ride it. Find it, buy it, ride it.
Find a bike, buy a bike, trade in your old bike for a gift card towards a new bike. Friday noon to 8, Saturday 10 to 8, and Sunday 11 to 5 at the State Fair Park inside the Expo Center. Visit bikeexposale.com for details. Admission is free.
Life is short. We'll see you at the Bike Expo.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
So you just crashing my show now, Steve?
Yeah, I'm going to be here as much as I want to. Now, I'm just going to barge into all the shows. I feel like it. I want to. People are.
Have you ever barged in on anyone else's show?
Oh, yeah. One time, Vachano was going off on something and how important he was. I go, you are not that important, Vince. And we went off on that. So I used to do it a lot more than I do now.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, you're going to be here when we come back after ABC News and local headlines.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. After imposing reciprocal tariffs today, President Trump backing off, issuing a 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs, he says, for the 75 countries that reached out to the White House on trade talks. That set off a reversal on Wall Street with stocks soaring. The president, though, tripling down on China, now slapping tariffs that total 125% on Chinese imports after China retaliated with 84% tariffs on U.S. goods. ABC's Rebecca Jarvis has more.
First of all, it's a stunning reversal. Just a week ago, the President Trump dubbed it Liberation Day and rolled out all of these so-called reciprocal tariffs. And now there's a 90-day pause on the majority of them, except for on China. First of all, those sources I'm talking to on Wall Street have anticipated that a lot of this has been with the idea of isolating China.
The president also lowered the reciprocal tariffs to 10% during the 90-day pause. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:31. I'm Jessica Ty. One person is dead after an apartment fire on Milwaukee's north side. Police say the fire is suspicious and there's a known suspect, but that person is not in custody yet. The fire broke out yesterday afternoon near 31st and Capitol. Firefighters found a 71-year-old dead inside that apartment. Well, he asked for a new judge to hear his case, and he's going to get it. 40-year-old Michael Gerard made that request today after pleading not guilty to felony theft and computer crimes. Gerard worked as a Marquette University residence life employee and admitted to securing a decade of free rent for his university apartment by altering documents. He's due back in court next month. Another downtown Milwaukee building is being converted from office space to living space. The Mitchell Building on Water in Michigan will add about 60 apartments starting this summer. The historic building has been mostly vacant since its anchor tenant, Laughlin Constable, moved to the Associated Bank River Center in January. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports that conversion project will cost about $20 million. Hey, speaking of money, it's time for news about your money. Here's a WTMJ Annex Wealth Management market update. And boy, oh boy, are the markets moving after President Donald Trump announced the pause on tariffs for most nations, with the exception of China. The Dow now up 2,752 points to 40,397. The S&P 500 is up 423 points to 5,406, and the NASDAQ is up 1,649 points to 16,917. We'll see what happens as the markets close today. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Let's check out the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We're not doing too bad. I do want to let you know, 4145 north at Burleigh Street, the right shoulder is blocked right now due to a delayed recovery. You know what that means? Basically, in a nutshell, if you have a crash and there's still a car out there from that crash that needs to be picked up, That's what that delayed recovery is. And it looks like it might be happening because I do see that an emergency responder, as I look at the cameras for you, has pulled up. And it's got its flashers on, and the car is out there. Passenger side door is open, and hopefully that car will be out of here. And traffic looks like it's going by just fine, though. The shoulder there is pretty big. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast today. Later today, it's going to get messy. We've got rain, snow. It's going to be a mix. High of 42 today, but we already beat that, actually. Tonight's going to be cloudy after the mix ends, low of 34. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy. We do have a slight chance for rain, high of 42 tomorrow. Friday, mostly sunny, high of 46 by the lake, 51 inland, and then we're going to keep warming up. Saturday, mostly sunny, high of 52 by the lake, 60 inland. And then Sunday, well, it's not going to be as sunny, and we do have a slight chance for a shower later in the day on Sunday. We have a high of 57 by the lake and 66 inland. It's currently 44 degrees in Kenosha, 50 in Port Washington, and 43 here in downtown Milwaukee. I'm Jessica Ty. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:34.
Football fans, Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets to the first day of the 2025 draft in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience powered by Verizon. Hurry to select Wisconsin Verizon locations to enter by April 13th. No purchase necessary to enter. Must be legal U.S. resident of Wisconsin or Illinois, age 21 years or older to enter. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit www.espnwisconsincontest.com.
A Brewers group outing is the best way to celebrate any special occasion. Whether it's a birthday party, anniversary, or bachelor party, baseball is better with a group. Grab your crew of just 15 or more for an event you won't forget. Brewers account reps make your day at the ballpark a breeze. Plus, get set up with customizable tailgate spaces, seating blocks in your favorite location at American Family Field, and much more. Start planning your group outing now at brewers.com/groups.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristin Brey, and Steve Scaffidi is here. I mean, you must be happy. The markets are back up.
Yeah, significantly. 7, 8, 10%. Now, here's the thing. The president did like a 90-day pause on the tariffs, which is good. I mean, somebody who's seen the impacts, because anyone who's my age, who's invested since, in my case, the early 80s, these days have dramatic impact on your savings and investments and all your stocks and all that. So set that aside. So other than China, everyone gets a reprieve. Now, we also need to know that in Europe.
Is this also Canada and
I believe
Mexico?
so.
Everything's punted for 90 days,
but
except China?
This is his declaration. In Europe, the EU, they're just freshly approving new retaliatory fees, duties, tariffs on our stuff. So the president can say these things, having a great response, but before you drop your pants and do the hula dance for the great news.
That's quite okay. Is that a common phrase?
Well, for me it is.
Is it? I've never heard
if
you
you're
say.
Going to be excited, go all the way.
Drop your pants
and do the hula dance. Did you like that?
I did. I've just never heard of it before. It really caught me off guard.
Maybe that should be on a T-shirt. Let me put that on a T-shirt. I could have said bend over, but I didn't. All right, so here's my message about all this stuff. One, you take it all with a grain of salt as a president. President caused this issue in the first place. Liberation Day caused massive havoc in the markets.
Yes.
Not even a question. That's his thing. He owns it. So now he's done this. It's sort of been given at this moment, and the markets haven't closed yet. They don't close till 3. A reprieve, maybe some return to sanity. Maybe investors are getting a little more confident because this is going to be perceived as good news, and it is. But at the same time,
For how long, though?
I don't know. We're going to find out what happens tomorrow,
Right?
Or the
It's
next
like
day.
it's just it's similar to what we were talking about last week. It's just is TikTok going away? It's like, oh nope, another 75. And so how does it build confidence if it's going to change? If it can change on a whim?
It builds confidence because investors are skittish. They do things on a one-day notice or an hourly notice. They can change their mind on something.
Investors are, but not people who actually have
no
companies that.
No.
Because I was listening
They don't work
to,
in that
I
world.
was
They need
listening to,
long-term, not short-term.
Especially small companies. I was listening about this one story of a gaming company that's based in Michigan that they build $125. This is not Monopoly. This is not like mass-produced games. These are like high-end games that they do crowdfunding for, and all of their pricing model takes place over years, right? And they're now orders that have been like projects that have been gone backlogged for like 3 years are just totally upended because a lot of the parts that they make for these things are in China. And so investors, day traders, yes, but like people who are actually trying to plan their business, this is not confidence building.
They think long term. And here's the thing. We import a lot of stuff from China. You just mentioned one of those things, but a lot of technology. And the fact that we are not settling this issue with China, as a matter of fact, it's just getting worse because we do something in retaliation. Now Trump says he's going to 125% on China.
1 billion %.
Yeah, it's like absurd. And look, China's been ripping us off for years. One of my smart friends said that, this may be a retaliation, if you want to use that word again, against them stealing all of our manufacturing.
But did they steal it or did we?
Did they do it better and cheaper?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great question.
Right? I mean, this is free market, right? As far as how define stealing it from us?
I heard an economist yesterday talking about China and says this myth, that economist, he said that this idea that they have pennies on the dollar labor is complete BS. That's not true about China anymore. They actually have highly skilled workforce that know what they're doing. That's why their products are so popular in this country. So I guess there's a lot of nonsense associated with that. Here's my bottom line. I wouldn't overreact to any of this. It's good news that the market's going up. Those of us who are in the market, anyone who's saving, whatever, that's a good thing. But there's more important things to understand here. One, the president caused this. Two, it suggests that even his mind is impossible to read. And the fact is, what he's doing, just like Congress does, is kicking the can down the road one more time, just like Congress does all the time, especially when you talk about budgets. They never really fix anything. They just kind of keep doing all these short-term measures. That's not good policy.
Well, and this is my question. Let's take a break, and when we come back, maybe we'll dive in a little bit deeper, because this is where I feel like, is this a negotiation? What's not clear to me, is this negotiation tactics or is this policy? Because I feel like it keeps going back and forth of like, we're doing this to bring jobs back. But then they're talking about, on the other side of their mouth, this is, it will be cheaper to do manufacturing here because of AI and robots, but that's not jobs, that's AI and robots. Or if he keeps kicking the can, is it just a negotiation tool to get better trade deals? So I know you want to say something. Think about it.
All right.
You can say it.
Ooh,
You can bring
I
back.
got a finger
you can bring
point.
us back on Spanning the State.
Experience one of the greatest choral masterpieces of all time when the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra and Milwaukee Symphony Chorus present the Brahms Requiem at the Bradley Symphony Center, April 11th through the 13th. MSO artistic partner Deshaun Burton and Sonia Headlam will be the soloists in this work, which will be conducted by music director Ken David Mazur. The Brahms Requiem is not so much a lamentation for the dead as it is a tuneful, comforting, heartfelt celebration of life. Complete performances of the work only come around every so often, so don't miss this special opportunity to revel in its romantic glory, April 11th through the 13th only. For tickets, call the MSO box office at 414-291-7605 or visit mso.org.
We are Outdoor Living Unlimited. We put cool stuff in your yard. Patios, decks, pergolas, outdoor kitchens, screen rooms, even in-ground pools. You dream it, we design it together, then Outdoor Living Unlimited installs it for you. OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Pain, tingling, burning in your hand and wrist, wakes you up at night, makes life difficult. Working with your hands is nearly impossible. If that sounds like you may suffer with carpal tunnel syndrome. The problem is Medicare pays for the old open surgery done in a hospital or surgery center. And it's no walk in the park. Big incision, 6-week recovery. I mean, imagine your hands being bandaged up, unable to use it for 6 weeks. So if you want to, you can have that old open surgery the government says to get, or you have another option. An ultra minimally invasive procedure done in the office that can give you immediate relief in 15 minutes and you are back to your life in just one day. The Ovation Technique, only at Ovation Hand Institute. You've suffered long enough. You don't have to put the fix off anymore. Visit ovationhand.com and see the difference with your own eyes. ovationhand.com.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Homebuyer Helper Brian Wickert. One of our senior loan consultants recently helped their first-time homebuyer client win over 13 other offers. Of course, it was a team effort with their buyer's agent, and it centered around helping our clients understand what little difference there was to their monthly payment to offer over the asking price. And again, what little difference it would make to give the sellers peace of mind that they'd still buy even if the appraisal came in up to $20,000 short. But that's not all. Our consultant also texted and called the listing agent to reinforce how well qualified our buyers were and that they could in fact still close even if the appraisal came in low. Your Accunet consultant will help you understand your options so you can decide how aggressive you want to be. Then we do everything possible to help you win. Don't let someone else end up sleeping in your dream home. Know your options and get your rock solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
All right, Steve, before we went to break, I set up the question, this back and forth, the hula dance, drop your pants that you were saying before. I feel like the administration is talking out both sides of their mouth. On the one side, it's policy to try to bring back manufacturing to the United States, but on the other side, it's also negotiation tactics. And how can it be both?
It can be both long term. It can't be both short term. That's insane. You can't bring manufacturing back tomorrow. Just to take a plant that's already built that's empty would take a couple years. To build a plant, going from proposals, purchase of property, getting all the communities involved, all the partners, we're talking maybe a decade. That's how long that stuff takes. So,
well, and also to a certain extent, I've had Rick Barrett on, who's done a brilliant reporting on reshoring. Like Rick Barrett from Journal Sentinel, one of the business reporters there. We've already been bringing back manufacturing from, or at least sourcing, and it's mostly been a lot of things in Mexico. But there's been a pullback from how much we are companies are doing their manufacturing in China. This would obviously expedite that. But again, if it's a negotiation tactic and it's going to go away again, why would you make the investments to start to bring manufacturing back?
Right. I mean, that's a great point. And I was somebody who cautioned, this is way before I ever did radio. While globalization is a great idea, and there's benefits to it, and it should bring the world together, the problem is relationships get in the way, tariffs get in the way, supplies get in the way. All these things are barriers to that. So as much as I sort of saw some avenue for some globalization, we got ourselves in trouble because we were shipping entire industries overseas, yet still consuming all that stuff. That does not work when times get tough. So we're a service industry. We're a service country now. We got to stop doing that.
Almost all of our job. I mean, I don't know. What do we do? What do we do? Is this a service? Do we provide a service
as a country?
No, like you and I as this job.
Communications is a service, I believe, right?
But that's what I'm saying. Like most of us are employed in America, in some. We provide a service more than actually make stuff.
More and more of us are employed in those kinds of trades, which is, I don't think, a great thing. So what's going to happen is as we all get older, and the population is getting older, I'm certainly a lot closer than you are, we're going to need people that actually do stuff. And that's services that really impact your daily lives, like plumbers, electricians, builders, all those people. We have less and less people who are choosing that option. So we are buying things from overseas. We bring that stuff here, and we don't have people to utilize those supplies. So what happens? Everything breaks down. Everything breaks down in the country. We can't do anything anymore properly, efficiently, at the right level of service. We have major
So you agree
problems.
that we should be bringing manufacturing back and we should be training a workforce that can build stuff?
Yes, to some degree. Not exclusively. I'm not against globalization because it's important that the world be connected because what does that make us? Safer generally, right? What do we see now? We see antagonism over trade and tariffs. It's not a good thing. We've pissed off our allies. We've pissed off even more our enemies, Russia, China, although I don't know.
Is Russia an enemy anymore?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a whole topic for another day. It's a fascinating time, but it's also a scary time. I don't know if you want to get into this. You made this point earlier about these cycles, right?
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
I've been on a kick.
And this is a brilliant
I'm gonna reread it. There's two books. There's it's called The Fourth Turning, which was published in 1997, and then one of the authors died, and then so the other author who's still living in 2023 released a follow-up book saying The Fourth Turning is here, and they looked at originally the authors looked at 500 years of Anglo-American history. And basically found the pattern that history works in cycles and like 80 to 100-year cycles. And there's 4 eras in each cycle and plotted it out as far as there being the first turning being high. And so there's confidence and stable growth and everything. And then there's kind of like a cultural awakening and rebellion. And then there's an increase in what I think it's called unraveling is the third one. And there's an increase in individualism and a distrust of institutions. And then the fourth turning is crisis. And I am making the argument that as a millennial, we've felt a lot of the crisis stage so far in my lifetime.
Yeah.
It's just far as one thing after another between 9/11 and then the 2008 great financial crisis, the pandemic, and now we're here.
So what do we do with that information? That's the big question,
That's the big
right?
question.
Yeah. I think some return to common sense, logic, not being so reactionary like the current president, I think makes sense. There's so many big points, some of the absurdity that's going on in our government. One of those is, what's the role of governments? Are we too far across the middle line where government's trying to do too much and has done too much and spending way too much money on things that we should do for ourselves? That's another big question.
Well, one big thing that I think government should do is go after people or companies that price gouge, which seems like there was at least one egg company that was doing that. So I want to get your opinion on that after this on Spanning the State.
When we're out in your town, come say hi as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be.
You can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
News Radio 620 WTMJ.
I'm not against shopping online. In fact, you can check out our huge selection at BurkhartSportingGoods.com. But when you're ready to buy, Burkhart should be your only stop. Because here, you can grab hold of the Midwest's largest selection of baseball bats, gloves, and equipment, and take all the swings you need in our indoor batting cages to make sure you buy the right bat. And when you buy your new mitt, we'll steam and custom fit it for you right on the spot. This is Brian Burkhart, and when you love baseball and softball like we do,
You can't beat Burkhart.
if you're in charge of uniforms and equipment, you want to get the most value for your team's budget. You want the most for your money, and you want the process to be easy. Because you already have enough on your plate. We get it. Burkhart Sporting Goods Team Outfitting Division is the best you'll find. With an abnormally high customer satisfaction rate and our own silk screening and embroidery facility for quality control. So if you want the highest quality team outfitting and incredible service,
You can't beat Burkhart.
The Mind Chef's Wednesday all-you-can-eat Lenten fish fry is $7.99. Kids 5 and under eat free from the kids menu. Just walk in today for your $7.99 Wednesday fish fry. That's amazing. MindChefRestaurant.com.
We did the math. When you buy bagged mulch from the big guys, you pay $50 a yard. Why pay more for inferior mulch? When you buy from Erickson's, you'll get premium mulch for almost half the cost. And you'll see that even our economy mulch is better, for less than half the cost of bag mulch. And either choice is made with premium colorant that lasts longer. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Do you want the economy mulch or the premium? The only real difference is that the premium mulch has thicker strands, while the economy mulch is finer. But the colorant we use for both is of the highest quality, and that's why the color of our mulch lasts longer. And our mulch comes from trees, not pallets, and we process it all in-house. That's why our prices are so low. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano talking with Dr. Mike Nolte at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Doc, a lot of people are hesitant to visit a surgeon for spine care.
The good news is that the vast majority of patients that I see and the majority of conditions that I can see can be successfully treated without surgery. And I don't want patients to think that just because you're seeing a spine surgeon means that you're going to be signing up for surgery. We talk about, in my clinic, kind of a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. orthowisconsin.com.
Welcome back to Staying in the State. Steve Scaffidi is here with me, Kristin, Brey, and before we go to the top of the hour news, I don't know if you heard about this, but obviously eggs have been in, I feel like eggs and egg prices have been in the news for a year now. I don't know.
Kathy asked me how much eggs were because I don't shop. I said, I don't know, $3. She goes, like double that sometimes?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the nation, this news came out yesterday. So the nation's largest egg producer, Cal-Maine, announced quarterly profits of $509 million yesterday. In 2021, before the avian flu outbreak, it averaged $5 million per quarter. The company more than tripled its prices while receiving tens of millions of dollars in government relief for bird flu. So I just say, like, price gouging much as far as, because this is what happened also during inflation, people blaming inflation, but companies then also simultaneously reporting record profits. And it's like, I don't feel like you have to be a mathematician to figure out that sometimes these companies take advantage of situations and don't just pass on the cost, but actually increase prices beyond what they need to be.
So how do you think I'm going to answer that question? Just guess.
I think you said, I feel like you would say we should regulate that.
We should. And here's the
on a state level, we regulate it. There's price gouging laws on the state level.
Well, and that's where it's going to happen because what do we know about the federal government? They've whacked all those folks. Any oversight of this stuff, not going to be around.
Isn't that the other news this week as far as crypto?
Yeah.
And they're going to deregulate crypto even more, or at least not prioritize going after people who exploit it?
I know people have, differing opinions on that. I'm not a fan of it because I think I know the lack of regulation oversight is appealing to some people because for whatever reason. When I'm talking about money, finances, I want a lot of regulation. I want to know that my money is secure.
How about the guy who made sure our eye drops wouldn't blind us? Do you want him to be employed?
I do.
I do too.
There's a certain number, but 0 is not the right number for federal employees. Let me just say that. 0 is bad. 10,000 is probably not good. Maybe 5,000, sweet spot, something like that.
Do you think we're going to figure that? Well, do you think this administration is going to figure out what the sweet spot is?
No. Okay. Next one, maybe.
Are you already thinking about who's next?
No, I'm not even there. I'll be long gone by the time that has to happen.
All right. When we come back, we will spin around the state, and we're going to have some more fun next hour talking about Circus World and Old World Wisconsin. My nerdy the historical nerd in me is very excited about those topics. So stay with us on Spanning the State on WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
A cancer diagnosis shouldn't mean we can't make plans. It shouldn't mean living without joy or optimism. Cancer shouldn't be calling the shots. At the Fredert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Network, we're pushing to put cancer in its place by pulling together teams of leading specialists and researchers who work tirelessly for breakthroughs, who are developing innovative ways to treat every cancer, to treat your cancer. And by providing the largest cancer clinical trials treatment program in Wisconsin, so there are more treatment options and more reasons to be hopeful. So let's keep innovating. Let's keep discovering. Let's push to make every cancer diagnosis a story of survivorship and bring back the lightness of life that cancer takes away. To learn more about breakthrough cancer care, visit fredert.com/cancer.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
You only get one chance to make a first impression, and that goes double for your home listing, because that's how you're going to get the most value. By having a customized marketing plan specific to your property with professional photos, global marketing, and the built-in experience that Century 21 Benefit Realty has brought to the table since 2004. And being joined with Century 21 just makes all of the above stand out that much more. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
So how is that possible? 1.9% real estate commission? There must be something you're not telling me.
I hear that a lot. The truth is, everybody could do it, but they choose not to because folks keep paying more than they have to. I guess they just haven't heard yet that Century 21 Benefit Realty can make that 1.9% real estate commission promise on the sale of your home and stick to it. So I'd like to think that's going to make your decision easy. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Historic Fox & Hound Supper Club gift cards make perfect year-round birthday, anniversary, and thank you gifts. With the buy one dinner, get one free offer, it's like getting a free gift card. Order online at foxandhoundsrestaurant.com and enjoy your free dinner. Steel, walk behind, zero turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
The crew are out in Colorado to hit that Rocky Mountain high.
Hit in the air, that one into center. This is deep, up into the night. Back goes Doyle, track, wall. See you later, Bryce Terang. Wow.
Our Brewers Rockies coverage starts tonight at 7:05 on your home for the Milwaukee Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 2 o'clock, it's currently 44 degrees in Milwaukee. I'm Julia Fellow. Rain-snow mix ends early. The low will be 34 tonight. Chance for rain tomorrow. The high will be 42 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, facing a global market meltdown, President Trump announced a 90-day pause on punitive tariffs, with the exception of China. He actually raised those taxes. Here's the Treasury Secretary just moments ago as the stock market is way up.
Every country in the world who wants to come and negotiate, we are willing to hear you. We're going to go down to a 10% baseline tariff for them, and China will be raised to 125 due to their insistence on escalation.
We'll get a check of your markets in just a moment, but the Dow is almost back to 40,000, up more than 5%. Global markets surged after the announcement as well. The exact details of the president's plans to ease tariffs on non-China trade partners not immediately clear. A longtime Republican Wisconsin congressman says he was not happy about President Trump's tariffs.
Congressman Glenn Grothman says in his decade in Washington, he's never seen anything like the current aggressive tariff action.
I don't want it to become a long-term tax on the American people used to balance the budget. That'd be a mistake.
He says he understands that Wisconsinites are nervous.
I'm a little nervous until we see how it shakes out. I think everybody's a little bit nervous. We're going to know a lot more where this winds up in 4 or 5 weeks from now.
John Mercure, WTMJ News.
A teen accused of killing his parents is back to trial. 17-year-old Nikita Kasap faces 9 felony charges, including murder and hiding the corpse of his mother and stepfather. Waukesha County Detective Ross Seitz says that details where investigators found the bullet holes inside the home.
One was located lodged in the wall near the access door from the garage into that hallway. Another one was located in the floor around the location of victim B's body. And then a third was later recovered on a desk located near victim B's body.
Kassup's arraignment is set for May 7th. Time for news about your money, the WTMJ NX Wealth Management Market Update. Wow, the Dow is up more than 6%, up more than 2,300 points just hit more than 40,000. S&P 500 up more than 7%, up 365. NASDAQ up more than 9%, almost 9.25%, up 1,400 points. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 2:03.
Who's hungry? Mark your calendar April 19th through the 27th for Lake Geneva Restaurant Week. This culinary adventure showcases dozens of the area's top restaurants, serving up exclusive breakfast, lunch, and dinner menus at unbeatable savings. From casual cafes to elegant fine dining, the choices are endless as we celebrate Lake Geneva's amazing dining scene. Check out participating restaurants, menus, and all the tasty details at visitlakegeneva.com. Lake Geneva, it's always been the place for distinctive dining.
You should be listening to Wisconsin's Midday News each weekday from 11 to 1.
Bucks President Peter Feigin joins us live here in the studio right now.
But if you missed us, catch up anytime with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty by listening to the Wisconsin's Midday News podcast.
What you're seeing now is like the reality of, playing a season together, kind of, getting to know each other.
Powered by Siding Unlimited, siding, and a whole lot more.
Don't forget, take us with you wherever you go. We'd love to have you with us.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-810-3588. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-810-3588. 800-810-3588. 800-810-3588.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brew Crew looked to make it 2 in a row over the Rockies tonight in Colorado. William Contreras hit his first home run of the year as part of last night's win. Pat Murphy would like to see that continue.
Doing a fabulous job behind the dish. It goes unnoticed. I don't think the general baseball fan understands how important the catcher is in our whole thing. He's like the quarterback, calls all the pitches, but to see his offense come alive would be really nice. So hopefully it continues.
Coverage of tonight's game begins at 7:05. 3 games to play in the regular season. Your Milwaukee Bucks occupy 5th position in the Eastern Conference playoff race. Outside chance they could move up to number 4 spot. They host the Pelicans tomorrow. In golf, Masters Week underway at Augusta National with the par 3 contest happening. No golfer has ever won the Masters par 3 contest and the Masters tournament in the same year. Let's take a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. I see one crash on 41, 43, 894 East. At the ramp from Forest Home Avenue, there are major slowdowns. The right shoulder is blocked because of a crash.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to Rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Here is your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Rain snow mix ends early. Low will be 34. Chance of rain tomorrow. The high will be 42. Sunny Friday with a high of 51 inland, 46 at the lake. Sunny Saturday with a high of 60 inland, 52 at the lake. Shower chances Sunday, 66 is your high, inland, 57th lake. Right now in Madison, it is currently cloudy and 48 degrees. Green Bay, 46 degrees. In Waukesha, it's 46 degrees. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 2:07.
It's time to take a spin around Wisconsin and find stories you might have missed. Here's Spinning the State on Spanning the State with Kristin Brey.
Oh, you cut Steve out.
Oh man, what am I? Potatoes?
Well, Steve says you've lost your privileges with the wheel.
Why?
You You're not delicate with it. You treat the wheel poorly.
Did I
so
manhandle it?
Yes, you
I put my man hands on it.
So apparently you've lost your privileges. I will spin the wheel.
All right,
you can
whatever.
react to the story
If I want to.
You can drop your pants and hula dance.
If we want to do that as well.
It's not a thing. I Googled it during the news.
I'm making it a thing.
Okay.
Can't believe you've never heard that expression before.
Literally no one has heard that expression before.
Maybe it's ungoogleable.
Yeah, because it's not a thing.
All right, enough of this.
All right,
enough of
here we
this
go.
badgering of the witness.
Stevens Point.
All right, Stevens Point. So there's been a lot of protests. I don't know if it'd be interesting to rank how many, or gauge if there's as many protests at the beginning of Trump's first administration or second administration. What do you think so far?
First. And
The first, right? Because that was the whole thing where protest is the new brunch back then.
This
All
is
right.
like a nothing burger to me. but
Anyways,
never mind.
among people's taking a stand are indie bookstores, some of which in Wisconsin. So Bound to Happen Books is a brick and mortar bookstore that opened in 2021 when supply chains were feeling the disruptions of COVID-19. And people refer to that time as the Renaissance for independent bookstores. However, Amazon, obviously, not surprisingly, was still dominating as one of the largest booksellers in the world. So now indie bookstores are taking a stand against the growing influence of billionaires in government and public life with grassroots campaigns like economic blackout days of no spending. So small businesses in the state are seizing this moment of economic protest to promote shopping local messages, even if it impacts their own pockets. The owner of Bound to Happen Books encouraged people on the store's social media pages to take part in a recent spending blackout day, even if that included their bookstore. So both Bound to Happen Books of Stevens Point, Word Haven in Sheboygan, and others have aligned their bookstores to break the online shopping algorithms and book bans by providing community activism, like an organized protest when Roe v. Wade was overturned, or simply reorganizing their bookshelves to feature authors and experts for in-person discussions. What do you think? Are you a big fan of Boswell? Do you have an independent bookstore that you
I
like
buy
to
all my
frequent?
books online.
On Amazon?
Yeah.
So you're that guy.
They're delivered right to my house.
What about the libraries?
I built a library in Oak Creek when I was mayor. I don't know if you knew that, but
I did not actually. You built a library?
I helped build it.
Oak Creek didn't have a library before that?
We built a new library.
Oh, new library. Okay.
Yeah. Again, protests for me most of them are meaningless. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a protest?
Not that I can think
You've
of.
never partake.
What would I have been protesting?
I don't know.
I tell you, I love Stevens Point though.
All right. Don't touch the wheel.
Spinning the state. I love Stevens Point. God bless all of you up there.
Elkhorn.
Including my friend Sandy, by the way. Shout out to Sandy Love. She lives in Stevens Point. She was on my Tuscany trip. Fantastic person.
All right. Hi, Sandy. All right, Elkhorn and Kenosha. So Earth Day, do you know that Earth Day is next week?
That one I do care about.
You do care about Earth Day. So you've never protested anything in for Earth Day?
No, I did something. I'm more of a doer, not just a protester or complainer.
All right, well, Earth Day, if you didn't know, is next Tuesday, April 20th. No, it's on April 22nd, so that's 9th. Is that next Tuesday already? No. What date is it? It's the 9th.
No.
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
But celebrations are already taking place this coming weekend. So Gateway Technical College will be hosting their 17th annual Celebrate Earth Day event this weekend. The family-friendly event is free to the public, and event goers can participate in things like planting native plants for erosion control along the Pike Creek with the Pike Creek Horticulture Center, drop off electronics for recycling at the Madrona. I'm not pronouncing that correctly.
I don't even know what that
Conference
is.
Center. There's a hands-on presentation by the Racine County Zoo, a pollinator workshop. We were talking about pollinators earlier today, that you do not care about them.
Why would you say that?
Because you said you didn't care.
No, I care about bees and pollinators and all that stuff. I don't want you to have your yard looking like it's a junkyard. So cut your
But
damn
until
grass.
this is what the PSA from the DNR was.
You could
that until we're at consistently 50-degree weather, leave your leaves and all of your kind of stuff, because there's pollinators who have not hatched yet. And if you do it too soon, you're going to make it even worse for the bees. And the bees are very important to our...
Sounds great, but what do I tell my friends at Eater Landscaping when they show up in April to remulch my
that
yard?
they should come back in May.
No, I want it done in April because I like to have the yard look nice.
I thought you just said you were a fan of the Earth Day.
There's many other ways you can do things. Earth Day. Pick up garbage. Start with that. There's
Save
garbage
the bees.
everywhere. Save the bees. Yeah, whatever. I love bees. On the record, I love bees.
As a reminder, Earth Day, Wisconsin thing. Originally a Wisconsin thing.
Yeah, Les Aspin.
No. Gaylord Nelson.
Gaylord Nelson, that's what it is. I had that.
1970.
Yeah, close.
All right.
Sort of. They're elected officials, both of them. Thanks for correcting me.
Who was the first person you said?
Les Aspin, congressman.
Was he also a big
yeah, I think so.
Climate activist?
I'll have to look it up during the break.
All right. Well, let's take a break. And when we come back, when's the last time you were at Circus World?
Like 25 years ago?
All right. Well, maybe they
Has it changed?
They have a new exhibit.
You had me at new.
They have a return of some really fancy archival. I don't want to give away what they are, but I'm having a hard time coming up with a different word. So we're going to talk about Circus World when we come back on Spanning the State.
It's Debbie Lazaga, and I'm so excited because I've chosen Kohler Services to transform my old bathtub into a beautiful new Luxstone shower this month. Kohler Services makes it so easy. They came to my home, took measurements, and answered all of my questions. I was able to feel the crushed stone wall material and design my custom shower. I can't wait for my installation. You can request your free quote for a custom Kohler Luxstone shower by visiting KohlerServicesWI.com. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Brewers baseball is here. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Don't miss any of the big games or the superstars. And come back for the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's every game all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
Circus World.
Or background music for the Wisconsin State Legislature. Either or.
I knew you were going to have some kind of snide comment. This is not a political segment, Steve.
Sorry.
Spring is spring here?
Yes, it's spring.
It is spring. Mm-hmm. Summer is coming. It's when Wisconsin comes alive. And the nerd in me is always very excited to experience some of the nerdier, historical, fun things that we have here in our state.
Is it nerdier or cool?
I embrace the word nerdy.
It's cool.
I think nerdy is a good thing. But I think it is sometimes, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of those places is Circus World, which is a national historic landmark located in Baraboo, Wisconsin. And starting on April 21st, they have a pretty exciting attraction that is returning after 12 years. So Pete Shrake, who's an archivist with Circus World Museum, is joining us now. Welcome to the show, Pete.
Hello, thank you.
So I guess what, in your mind, as someone who works at this Circus World Museum, what is it about the circus that still captivates people's imagination and interest?
Well, I think the fact that it is just it's so many different things. I mean, we work with historians and fans and the general public here. So people of all walks come to the museum, and all of them see a little bit of something in this unique art form that appeals to them. If you're into kind of high energetic performance, then the live acts are for you. Everything from the trapeze, or like last year we had the human cannibal act, or the clowning. If you're into kind of the nuts and bolts logistics of how a show moves from town to town, things like the wagons or just the mechanics of a circus appeal to people. The wagons themselves are a form of folk art. The imagery, the posters are just vibrant and kind of splash at you, and there's just a little bit of everything. There's stuff for kids, there's stuff for adults. It's one of those historic as well as contemporary art forms that just has an incredibly broad appeal, and I think that's why it still works today, and that's why folks come out to Circus World to check it out.
You still have those cool train cars that were in the parades of yesteryear?
We do. We have well over 30 historic railroad cars in our
Wow.
museum. About 8 or 9 of them are on display on our museum grounds, including a clown car, which is where the Ringling clowns lived when they were on the train. You know, that especially that last train. So we have a genuine clown railroad car, but we've got coach cars and animal cars and flat cars, and many of them were indeed used during those years of the Great Circus Parade.
So those are the train cars, but coming as of April 21st are the wagons, right?
The wagons are already here.
Okay.
And yes, we are exceptionally excited for that. So there are 4 wagons, and they are on loan to us from Feld Entertainment, and this is the Feld family and their company that still own the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus today and still have it on the road. And wonderful people, warm people, just very nice people, have a lot of just their own family memorabilia. The Feld family purchased the Ringling show from John Ringling North back in the late 60s, and so they're the only, they're basically the second owners of the brand. They've owned it now for well over 50 years. Anyway, they own the wagons, and they're loaning them to us. And amongst them is the Bell wagon, which is really very symbolic of Wisconsin and the circus.
It's a one of, right?
Yeah, and it was made here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was made in Baraboo. And so Baraboo had a number of circuses in its time, but the Ringlings being the big ones, and their cousins, the Mollers, made wagons. And so the Mollers made it for the Ringlings, and the bells on them were cast in a foundry in Milwaukee, and it was used, and came out of Baraboo for the show for many, many, many years. There were over 100 circuses from Baraboo at one time or another. So, I mean, really a big part of our state's history. And if there's a piece that really represents that history as a performance piece, as a display piece, you name it, the logistics side of it, that Bell wagon really is it. So for us to have that here is just incredibly exciting.
And is it just for this summer, or how long do we have it for?
We have it on loan for, I believe it is, and I'm going to get the terms wrong, but I believe it's 5 years, and then it can automatically renew. And so it'll be here for a number of years.
Very cool.
And again, the Feld family are wonderful folks. They're very supportive of us, and so just very excited that we're able to make this happen.
All right. Well, I'm adding it to my my list of things to do this summer. So thanks so much for joining us, Pete.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Pete Schrake is the archivist at the Circus World Museum in Baraboo, Wisconsin. And when we come back, some other Wisconsin history in the form of an old tavern that has been renovated. So we will talk about that after this.
When we're out in your town, come say hi as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be.
You can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
News Radio 620 WTMJ.
Hey, boaters! At Kendor Marine, we have everything you could want, think of, or wish for your boat. We're committed to making sure you always have a place to fulfill every boating need that you have. And if you ask around, you'll find out our prices always beat the other guys. This is Dave Dorrell from Kendor Marine. Boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water. Hey, boaters!
This is Dave Dorrell from Kendor Marine. And hey, boaters love shopping here. How do I know? Well, most times it's because they tell me, Dave, I love shopping here. But other times it's because they tell you. If you need a reason to come here, just check out our online reviews. They tell the whole story. Boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
Your nose is for breathing. Your mouth is for eating. And if you're breathing through your mouth, it's not because your body wants to. It's because it has to, because your nose isn't working properly. And although you've lived like this, it's no way to live, and it's having a significant impact on your life. I know you know this, and I know that taking action isn't always convenient. But at Advent, we've done all we can to make changing your life for the better as easy as possible. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. With tens of thousands of our patients, a thorough breathing triangle evaluation, along with a simple 20-minute in-office procedure called balloon sinuplasty, has opened their nasal passages, allowing them to breathe freely through their nose for good. And there's a good chance this procedure can do the same for you. We'll help you breathe through your nose again, and it will change your life.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Hi, this is Jeff Levering with the Brewers Radio Network. Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's trusted name in home improvement, does more than just top-quality roofing. They're your go-to for maintenance-free siding and energy-efficient windows, too. Ridgetop has expert credentials with leading manufacturers like Pella, James Hardie, and LP Smart Siding. For over 20 years, they delivered exceptional craftsmanship and service. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Ridgetop Exteriors, where customer service always comes first.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
But I'm pretty good at drinking beer. So hand me one more, that's what I'm here for.
All right, well, circuses might be part of our state history, but also part of our state history, beer.
Actually, the present day.
And present day. So a couple years back, I had the opportunity to go check out the beer and brewing experience at Old World, Wisconsin. It was very cool. You can see, and it's still there, you can see how they used to make beer, which is not so dissimilar, except that now it's a much bigger, thing. But when I was there, I remember seeing the outside of a tavern that they had excavated and were renovating as like the next phase of this beer and brewing experience. So it's done now. And as of May 17th, you can go see it. So joining us now is Rob Novak of Old World, Wisconsin, who is the beer and brewing historian. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Hi, Kristin. Thank you.
So before we get to the tavern, can you just tell us a little bit more about the brewing experience at Old World, Wisconsin that I was talking about?
Yeah, so we have evolved since your visit. This will be our fourth season brewing. We brew every day that we're open in our brew house, which is essentially a really fancy barn. And that is the first step into exploring Wisconsin's beer history. And now we've been able to get the tavern ready, which will be the next step.
So describe this tavern experience to me. What it's going to be like? What do we expect to see there? What are we going to drink together?
Well, the first thing you're going to experience is sort of walking into the past. So we've designed the tavern to look how it looked in the 1930s. This building was built in the early 1900s, but we aimed for the period right after Prohibition ended. So you're going to walk into the 1930s, 1934, and we're going to have a post-Prohibition lager on draft that we brewed with Foxtown Brewing in Mequon. To try to target the flavors and ingredients that were used in that era. So you'll be able to order one of those, have some Landjäger, which is a traditional German sausage snack that was very popular in taverns, and just kind of soak in the ambiance of the 1930s.
You glossed over that sausage thing. I want to know more about this. That intrigued me as a fan of the sausage industry. And
oh, gosh.
What's
that?
What's in that thing?
Our history. A Landjäger is beef or pork sausage. They're small. They come in pairs. They're kind of a dry sausage, so hunters could take them with them in their pockets.
Oh, yeah.
And they're delicious. So you'll see them hanging up in these little chalets.
Oh, I got you now. I got you. Yeah. I love that.
So,
yeah,
Rob,
they are delicious.
Where was the tavern originally from? Like, where was it excavated from?
We acquired the tavern from the Whitnable family in Old Ashippun, which is north of Oconomowoc.
Okay.
And we kind of sliced it like a layer cake and drove it down here on the road, a couple of big trailers. And that's where it was. There was a house connected to it, so it was sort of like you could come in, ring a bell, and at certain times they'd come out and serve you a beer. But it's a small town. Everybody knew everyone. And we brought it here and recreated it to that 1930s spec. They operated it until 1988, but they didn't really update it much. So we really got a building that feels like the 30s.
And what does it take to renovate something like that? I mean, obviously, it's been 3 or 4 years since I saw it. It was on the property, but it was not open to go into yet. So what does it actually take to renovate an 100-plus-year-old building?
Well, the first step was put it back together, get all the HVAC kind of up to modern standards, but then make everything else look as original as possible. We actually used the original wainscoting and things like that, match the color of the paints, match the floor tiles. So really 2 or 3 years of research followed by physical work, and then followed by really like when you're in a theater, it felt like we were putting a set together. It felt like set design. Finding all the little pieces to put, like little pictures to tuck in the mirror and things like that. So it went from like a construction project to really a theater project. And now we're a functioning bar. We have a modern bar right behind the historic bar. We have modern bar equipment.
So opening night in May, what should we expect to see there?
May 17th, yeah, we'll open that whole weekend. 17th and the 18th, we'll have ribbon cuttings. We'll have some tap performances. We'll have all the features. There's some Easter eggs, like if you see the phone on the wall, the historic phone, you probably want to pick it up if it rings and see what messages are. See if you have to deliver a message to the bartender. And of course, we'll have beer on tap. So we'll have 4 beers on draft plus other goodies and Wisconsin snacks.
And the sausages.
And so, yeah, Steve's waiting for this.
Yeah, exactly.
You've sold
exactly.
Steve. He's going to come
You had
now
me at
because
sausage.
of the sausages. So as far as what are the hours for the summer for Old World Wisconsin and for the tavern?
Yeah, so we are open in the summer. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, 10 to 4. That begins in June, but starting in May, we're open on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
10 to 4, but then the tavern won't open until May 17th.
All right, May 17th. Ribbon cutting,
Mark
sausage,
that on your calendar.
Beers, Rob Novak.
And polka.
And polka.
Oh.
You missed it.
Yep.
Oh, burying the lead. All right, Rob, thank you so much for joining us today.
You bet. Thank you, Kristin.
Rob Novak is the beer and brewing historian at Old World, Wisconsin. Did I sell you?
The sausage.
Do you want to go
love
with
sausage, yeah. Well, I don't know if I'm going to go with you, but I certainly we'll go there at some point.
You have grandkids. Why don't think they have fun at Old World, Wisconsin? I love this kind of stuff.
I'm a fan of history, yes.
This is why I feel like you were poo-pooing me of being excited about this story.
I think you read me wrong on that. Work on that.
Work on my own projections. All right. Well, now that we've had some fun, we're going to go back to a story that is less fun after the bottom of the hour news. There has been a executive order back in March about eliminating the Institute of Museum and Library Services. So we are going to talk to a local library representative about how that could affect us here on Spanning the State.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. Stocks soaring on word President Trump is issuing a 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs for dozens of countries, all except for China.
The president, however, raised his tariff rate on China to 125%. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent.
President Trump created maximum negotiating leverage for himself.
Bessent said every negotiation will be unique and the president wants to be personally involved. He wouldn't say how long negotiations would take, saying the administration is starting with 90 days. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
President Trump at the White House touting his policies, saying tariffs are working and countries are reaching out.
Nothing's over yet, but we have a tremendous amount of spirit from other countries, including China. China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how quite to go about it. You know, it's one of those things they don't know how quite. They're proud people.
Economists warn that prolonged tariffs and a trade war could lead to a recession. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 2:31. I'm Julia Fallow. Your top story, one person killed after an apartment fire on the north side. Police say the fire is suspicious. There's a known suspect, and police say that person is not in custody yet. The fire broke out yesterday afternoon at 31st and Capitol. They found a 71-year-old killed inside of the apartment. A teen accused of killing his parents is headed to trial. 17-year-old Nikita Kassup faces 9 felony charges, including first-degree murder, hiding corpses for the February deaths of his mother and father, Tatiana Kassup, and Donald Mayer. Authorities allege that after the killings, he lived with the bodies in their home for approximately 2 weeks before fleeing and being arrested in Kansas. The prosecuting attorney is considering more charges. He'll be arraigned in May. Another downtown Milwaukee building is being converted from office space to living space. The Mitchell Building on Water in Michigan will add about 60 apartments this summer. The historic building has been mostly vacant since anchor tenant Lachlan Constable moved to the Associated Bank River Center at the beginning of this year. The Journal-Sentinel says the conversion project will cost about $20 million. Time for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up more than 2,900 points, up more than 7%. S&P 500 up more than 9%, up 465. NASDAQ up 1,800 points, up 12%. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Let's take a look at your roads through WTMJ time saver traffic. 4143 894 east to the ramp from Forest Home Avenue. The right shoulder's blocked because there is a crash. I see at least 3 cars involved in this crash. There's tow trucks and police on scene, and there's big backups at this time. Here is your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Rain snow mix ends early. The low will be 34. Chance for rain tomorrow. The high will be 42. Sunny Friday with a high of 51 inland and 46 at the lake. Sunny Saturday with a high of 60 inland and 52 at the lake. Shower chances Sunday. 66 is your high, 57 at the lake. Right now in Madison, it's 48 degrees. Green Bay, 46 degrees. And 46 degrees in Waukesha. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time approaching 2:34.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Bring spring to your door with Target Circle 360. Get all you need for Easter hosting, spring get-togethers, and more with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. From Easter basket goodies to fresh florals, getting everything the same day is easy. Open the Target app and bring the magic of the season to your door with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. Visit target.com/circle or the Target app for more details. Subscription required. Same-day delivery is subject to terms. Applies to orders over $35.
There's a winning magic powering up at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. This April, prepare for an exciting quest to $300,000 in the Enchanted Spin Slot Tournament. Just conjure your rewards card and play slots to earn drawing entries. Each Thursday, 60 winners will compete for thousands in cash and prizes. Let your journey begin with Enchanted Spins, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. We talk all the time about Tri-County Contracting, the place to go for roofs and siding, but don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also does windows. Need a new front entry door? Tri-County Contracting, or maybe a patio door that's always jammed. Get your free estimates today. They've been helping homeowners like you for 46 years. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, oh yeah, and windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I'm Kristin, Brey. Steve Scaffidi is here with me. And did you know about this one? The federal funding for Wisconsin library systems might be at risk?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Did you know about it?
No.
Okay. See, there's a lot of things happening. It's hard
A
to
lot of
keep
things
up
I
with
don't
everything.
know. You should have said that.
That too. But yes, President Donald Trump ordered the elimination of an agency that provides financial support for libraries nationwide. In a March 14th executive order, Trump directed the elimination of the Institute of Museum and Library Services. What does that mean? That was another institution. I don't know what it is. And so here to answer our questions is Deb Merritt, who is the Public Information Coordinator at Milwaukee County Federated Library System. That's a mouthful of a title.
Yes.
So what is the Institute of Museum and Library Services?
Yeah, this is a very small agency, about 75, 80 employees that most of us have never heard of. That provides mostly grant money for libraries and museums across the country. It is the only federal source of funding for libraries that we have. So the funds that come from them mostly are either one-off grants for mostly smaller libraries. If they've got a need for, let's say, 10 new computers and they don't have that kind of budget, they can apply for a grant. And this is the kind of money that would come in to help them keep up with technology, tie into the state interlibrary loan system, things like that. A lot of stuff that is kind of behind the scenes that isn't real visible to people, but that really makes a difference.
Anybody that goes to libraries, actively goes. I still have my library card at my desk at home because I love libraries, and we have a great one in Oak Creek. Understands the role that libraries play. And it's not just, you take your little kids and they get a few books. It's something for everyone. That's the thing that I think people miss in this story.
Absolutely. The importance of libraries actually is rising more and more these days. They've really become community hubs for everybody. Everyone can come in. They're warming and cooling centers. They provide computer literacy courses, all kinds of programming for all ages, a lot of job resource help and training. It just goes on and on.
And so can you give us some examples of either any of our local libraries that was a recipient of some of these grants?
Locally, I
that's fine.
am not right to
I was just trying to
but yes.
put it together as far as like, oh, my library got this thing because of this federal agency.
You'd have to check into each individual library. I don't have information on it. We have 383 libraries in the state. That might be recipients of these kinds of things. And like I said, it's going to be different every year depending on the library's needs. But these particular funds tend to disproportionately help the little rural libraries who just don't have a budget for much beyond just the books that are in their walls.
You're obviously biased when we talk about libraries, but I think it's still important when you're a subject matter expert to explain to people, in your own words, why libraries are so important in our daily lives.
Yeah. Well, actually, I want to say, first of all, I think everybody is biased for libraries. Libraries are a very nonpartisan entity in our country, in our state, in our cities. We have always enjoyed and deeply appreciated really good support from the state legislature and from the federal legislature as far as funding and support goes. So everybody loves their libraries. They poll
libraries
well.
Poll well.
I would imagine
They poll
they would,
very well. Yeah. So it's just a place where you can always go. It's free. Where can you go and sit for free and get free Wi-Fi and free information and, books and music and movies and so much.
And some of the most helpful people you ever want to meet that work
talk
at the
about
libraries.
customer service skills, the best. But also the thing that surprises people, all the different services they provide. Some of the stuff I didn't even know until I got more involved. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, you mentioned the Oak Creek Library, which is a newer one of our libraries. They have a video gaming room that you can come with your friends and they've got games there. You can bring your own. I mean, you wouldn't believe the kinds of things that our libraries offer for you.
So if this actually does go away, is there ways to make up for some of those grants? Is there other things that could replace it, or what happens?
Well, that is the big question right now. We don't know. This agency has been in place since 1997. And like I said, it's been well-funded and non-controversial since then. So we didn't really see this coming. So it remains to be seen what would happen. Initially, we would feel the impact, especially at the state level. We kind of answer to the Department of Public Instruction, which also oversees the school system. They have people on staff that are specifically for the libraries, and they serve as resources for anything from gathering data and providing it to providing consultation sources. Most of those people's salaries are paid for by the IMLS. So if we lose those people, then each individual library would have to go out and hire a consultant or hire someone on staff to do that rather than have this pooled resource. So that's one of the things that people may not realize is that the IMLS funds actually make it more efficient and cost less money for your taxpayer dollars to get things done that the libraries have to do in order to be able to do them efficiently.
I hope that this funding gets reinstated, and I'm optimistic that it will, because I think one of the reasons we're talking about it is because I think people need to know this. But two, there are ways to help libraries in other fashions, and that's donations. Many of them have foundations or other fundraising opportunities. Find your community, find your local library, and ask them these questions. And we all have tight budgets, but we also are a giving country, state, and in our communities. And this is one of the really interesting, great ways to donate locally. I think it serves the public in so many different ways.
It really is. And I think you make a good point where, we see things happening at the federal level and it's so far beyond our immediate lives so often, but the library is right there down your street, making a difference in your life if you want it to, and it's definitely something worth investing in.
Now, we should say that Attorney General Josh Kaul has joined 20 other states for the lawsuit to block this from happening.
Yes.
Do we have any other updates beyond just there is a lawsuit?
They just made that announcement, and I don't know if the number is complete even of how many states are going to be a part of it. So we are obviously going to be watching that closely and have hope, and we're very glad to be a part of it.
Anything else people should be aware of or things that they can do to help?
We just want people to know that it's out there, and we want people to communicate that this is important to you. We the people have the power in this country, right? So we need to let our legislators know what's important to us. So we are really encouraging people to reach out to your representatives and let them know why the library is important to you. We actually have created a website where you can go for more information. It's mywisconsinlibrary.org.
Okay.
Nice and easy.
Very easy.
There's all kinds of information on that page, and there are links you can follow. It will help you find your representatives to call them. It'll explain all of this in much more detail, and it'll help you get started on helping support your library.
Amazing.
Thanks for your passion on this. I love the fact that it's like everybody I meet that works in a library is like the same way. They all have that same goal, desire, passion. That's why they work.
It's a great job, I got to tell you.
I know.
One more question. Have you been in any of the Milwaukee Public Library TikTok videos?
I have not been in any of them, but I watch them.
Many have gone
fervently.
viral. Yes, they are amazing. One of my favorite stories, because there's no like digital social media person. It's all of just the creativity
it's all
from the
just
staff.
Having fun. Yeah, if anybody out there, you need to watch the MPL TikTok or Instagram.
Or
is the
Instagram.
same. Yeah,
yes,
it's
if
incredible.
you don't want TikTok. Yep. All right, Deb Merritt, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you so much for
having
having
me.
me.
Say the website one more time.
mywisconsinlibrary.org.
Perfect. She is the Public Information Coordinator at Milwaukee County Federated Library System, and we'll be back with more after this.
Burkhardt Sporting Goods in New Berlin is the baseball lover's destination. With a massive state-of-the-art indoor training facility featuring hit tracks with precision analytics, a huge open turf area, and all the best training equipment you need. So get in here and get ready to get better. And we'll help you with this special offer. Buy 20 batting cage credits for $30. That's 25% off. This is Brian Burkhardt, and if you love baseball and softball like we do,
you can't beat Burkhardt.
153rd and National. If you plan on draining buzzer beaters, the place to start is Burkhardt, where you'll find a great selection of residential basketball hoops from the best brand, Gorilla. We'll handle the installation and take care of everything to make it easy from start to finish. And right now when you buy from Burkhardt, standard hoop installation is half price. You can't beat that. This is Brian Burkhardt, and when you love basketball like we do,
you can't beat Burkhardt.
New Berlin and Fox Point.
Built Right. One location saves you money.
You gotta get to Built Right today.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
We'll make your ads potent, memorable, and effective. Whether it's radio, TV, billboards, or digital, our understanding of the market and long-standing relationships are unmatched. Anderson Smith represents a substantial amount of advertising billing, which will benefit you in getting much more for your ad dollar. Our compensation model is designed to make it affordable for businesses like yours to use us. And we hold on to our clients because what we do works, and they trust us. Anderson-Smith.com. We help small business advertisers get better results. Too many times was I told, just go out there and sell something. Too many times did an advertiser buy just one package, only to be disappointed. I'll give it a try, they said. You know, I was just doing my job until I realized that job set a lot of people up for advertising failure. So we started Anderson Smith, and since then, we've retained many clients for over a decade and have been a valuable asset to their business because we're helping them rather than just selling them. Anderson-Smith.com. We help small business advertisers get better results.
How do we keep our prices so low? That's easy. We've removed the middlemen. Yep, most landscape suppliers have a couple of them in there, and that's okay. But each one of those men in the middle means a higher cost for your mulch, decorative stone, flagstone, and boulders. Feel free to check around. For the quality of our products, you won't find better prices. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. You know, most mulch is reclaimed from landfills, but Erickson's mulch is ground from whole trees. Yep, we process the mulch ourselves to keep the prices nice and low, and use only premium colorant so the beautiful look of new mulch lasts. At Erickson's, we never skimp, and that's why first-time shoppers become repeat customers. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Getting hungry, I can tell you that.
I thought you already had lunch.
I did. It was a salad, though. You know, I'm eating healthier now.
You are?
Yeah. Well, the podcast, I got to look good against your skinny frame. So it adds like 30 pounds to my weight. So I got to be conscious of that.
Right.
You know? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it was a good salad.
Did you hear about the boss, your guy? The news.
What's the news?
The news is he's going to release 7 lost
I did hear that news.
albums spanning
yes.
35 years. They're going to drop June 27th.
I hope that in that mix of albums, there's some of the stuff he recorded with Bob Seger many, many years ago that never got released. I'd love to hear that.
Maybe that's part of it.
I hope so.
So 7 new albums coming in June, which is, I would imagine you're very excited about it.
I am.
But yeah, so I thought we would, 83 tracks, most of which would have never been heard before.
And he's very hypercritical about his own music, so there's probably was a reason he didn't release them all the time. But when you get to this part of your life, the end of life, sort of, senior citizen, and he is now, and I think it's like
75. And
70?
he's 75,
Still
and he's
cranking it
still performing live, considered one of the best live acts. I mean, you saw him, 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think that was 2 years ago at the Pfizer Forum, and I love the fact that he's doing it on his own volition. He's not dead and someone's doing it afterwards like they did with Prince, which he never released that stuff. And then his family released it, and it's not the great Prince that we all know. So I'm glad that he's doing this.
Wait, what do you mean? What happened with Prince?
Prince had
unheard songs
in his vault,
never released
at the Paisley Palace or whatever that place is called. And his family, as part of the settling of his estate, released some of this stuff, and it wasn't like the final product.
Oh, so like the songs themselves, you were like, maybe they should have stayed in the vault.
Yeah, probably. Which is why.
Do you think some of these should stay in the vault?
I don't know. I haven't heard them yet. I hope not.
Think it's a money grab?
No, Springsteen doesn't need the money. He's a billionaire.
It's a sign of a recession.
Yeah,
sign of a
he's
recession
hurting
coming.
now. It's coming, so he's doing something about that. He's being proactive.
Who's left on your bucket list as far as people you would love to see live?
U2, haven't seen them.
Okay.
Love to see them. Bono,
Okay.
yeah. Is The Edge, is that his guitarist? I think so, right? Who else would be? I would have loved to see Neil Diamond because he doesn't tour anymore. I had a chance to see Frank Sinatra. I chose a Cubs game over a Frank Sinatra concert. I'd still kick myself in the head over that.
But so you did see Frank Sinatra?
I saw the Cubs, not saying Frank Sinatra. I had tickets for both. Chose the Cubs because I had a friend.
How old were you?
I don't know.
Was it a young and dumb decision, or?
No, I was probably late 20s, early 30s when he was still alive.
Borderline young and dumb?
Yeah, I was still young and dumb. A lot of people say I'm old and dumb. So
that's true.
Dave from Racine, there you go.
It's a text line.
How about this for the text line?
Some texters love you. I feel like you might be the most divisive person on the station.
Which I'm fine with. I always want to leave with some love here. Kristin, this is from the text line 414. I enjoy the wide variety of topics you cover. Very informative. And I agree wholeheartedly.
Because I'm a nerd.
Well, whatever you are. I listened to your 2 o'clock hour yesterday from home as I was doing my very important research work at home. I don't even know what I was doing. And I listened to your 2 o'clock hour on sports. Blew me away.
Oh, thanks.
That was.
You had a good show yesterday.
It was brilliant radio. So thanks for doing that for all of us who are consumers of what you do.
Well, I do my dad. We try to highlight the things that I find interesting. So I'm glad other people find them interesting too.
Yeah.
All right. Let's come back. And we'll do a little teaser for people who've been listening to our podcast because we're going to do a not so safe for work, which is this is a topic that can only be on the podcast. So we'll come back, wrap things up, and tell you what it is.
Brewers baseball is the sound of summer in Milwaukee. And now you can catch the Brewers on local TV for select Tuesday night games.
Curio sends it deep to left, and there she
It's
goes.
Brew Crew Tuesdays. On April 15th, the Crew take on the Detroit Tigers at 6:40 p.m.
Half swing. He went. Another strikeout for Freddie
This
Peralta.
Brew Crew Tuesday is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. See the action on Fox 6 in Milwaukee and check your local listings for where you can watch over the air statewide on April 15th.
Hey, Easter's almost here. WTMJ's John Mercure. I highly recommend the Easter Sunday brunch at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. It's one of the truly special family dining events of the year. Do it at a very special place. My favorite place, the Fox and Hounds. The food is world class. Everything you love for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, including prime rib and an entire room of homemade desserts. It's all you care to eat, and kids and grandkids under 3, they eat for free. Sip on a delicious old-fashioned bourbon or over 100 fine wines as you dine in one of the Fox and Hound's 8 elegant dining rooms. maybe a mimosa. The Fox and Hounds, tucked into the Kettle Moraine Forest just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the famous Holy Hill Shrine. The spring drive is spectacular. So do not cook, do not clean on Easter Sunday. Relax and enjoy your family and grandkids. The Fox and Hounds friendly staff will serve you. Call and reserve today as tables fill quickly. You'll love the Easter Sunday brunch, the Fox and Hounds.
You just can't pass on Less is Glass. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Pain can make you feel like no matter what you try, it's not going to work. Or it can make you try any and everything. And most times that'll make you feel like you've been taken for a ride. It's hard to believe that there's a solution to your pain problem that works, is safe, and is actually affordable. But that's why most insurance plans pay for pain treatments from Rejuvenex, because they're FDA approved and they do work. Toradol and hyaluronic acid work together to substantially alleviate your pain. And we've seen patients experience pain relief for greater than 2 years after completing a series of treatments. Is it a one and done? No. But at as low as $65 per joint, it's an affordable alternative to surgery. And it's not an expensive cross your fingers and hope it works experiment. Especially for older pain sufferers, the pain treatment that Rejuvenex offers is worth trying, because the vast majority of patients who do live better lives in a lot less pain.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Beer fans, travel lovers, and history buffs, this is your dream vacation. Join me, Sandy Max, on a 10-day journey through Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic. We'll enjoy Munich's famous beer halls, sip our way through Salzburg's historic breweries, and discover Vienna's culture and craft beer scene. Then end the tour in Prague, where ancient history meets modern brews. From iconic castles to authentic flavors, grab your passport and let's raise a glass to the ultimate beer adventure. Limited spots available. Book now. Email me, sandy@wtmj.com to learn more.
I believe it's time for me to fly.
All right, I was talking about the text line. We got a text from the 414 saying, Kristin, and they spelled my name right, which I love.
That's nice.
You are a breath of fresh air to the station and have even made me almost like Steve.
Oh, how about that?
Almost.
So that was so pleasant. Then they got to
Almost.
the Steve part and then messed it all up. But I appreciate you're at least moving in the right direction.
So speaking of more Steve, more Kristin, right now, once the show's done, we're going to go do our podcast.
To
You
our
need to
podcast
listen.
studio here at Good Karma Brands.
And I had pitched this story to you because I think it's very interesting. And it kind of goes in line with earlier this week. We had a documentary filmmaker on talking about the Gold Nugget in Spread Eagle, Wisconsin, which is a strip club.
Real place.
In the near the UP on the border, talking about dancing and sex work. And I had sent you a story about a woman who was a musician and has now started an OnlyFans page, which is becoming a more common career choice because there is so much money to be made on this site. And it's not really a safe for radio or work conversation.
Adults only, I would say.
So yes, so we are saving it for the podcast. But I feel like I'm interested to see if there's a generational divide on this, if there's a gender divide on this. But basically, as far as a take on the world's oldest profession, and yet here we are as far as it being one of the most profitable things specifically women can be doing right now.
Yeah, the oldest profession is never going to go away, and the interest in that oldest profession is never going to go away. And I think
here is sorry to cut you off.
And here is I think the magic of OnlyFans or those types of sites. Well, so I think for women, they are allowed to do this on their own terms. That's the difference, because women have been mistreated since time began.
Have been managed,
and a lot of other things.
Yes.
So this is sort of a different look at that relationship issue.
Yeah. So this we're gonna go record now. We'll be out next week, and then you're not here tomorrow. You're doing your show with Bill and Joe tomorrow, but you will not be with
Tomorrow's
me tomorrow.
Thursday, so we got 2 days. Friday. You're ready to get this week over.
No, it's because I have a short show tomorrow because of the Brewers.
That's right.
That's probably why my brain is glitching out
And
right
yes,
now.
I'm heading to Las Vegas very early on Saturday morning, where I'll be there until Tuesday, late in the evening, and then I'll be back Wednesday.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for joining me. I enjoyed having you here, even if some
I
of the
barged
texters
in,
did
but
not.
you welcomed me with almost open arms. So
Almost.
How about that?
All right, Wisconsin's Afternoon News is next.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio